Hey everyone, Chris Dawson running for City Council here, and there's something wrong with the sky. I think we need to hire some consultants to find out what's going wrong with the sky, because there's nothing coming out of it except appears to be radiation and it's burning me. Anyway, we'll hire some other consultants later. So today is part one of a two-part series on alternate water supplies. There is no way I can cover this in one video. I actually did a paper presentation at a water industry conference once, and I covered this exact subject, the history of Invercargill's water supply, and it was a half-hour presentation, and I'm sure I went over it and I'm sure I left a lot out. So this is a two-parter, so bear with me. So quick bit of history, and first I'll explain where we're going with this. So at the moment, council is working on an alternate water supply, which some councillors are saying is make or break stuff. It's the life and death of this. We've been working on this for 10 years. We really need to get on top of this. And it's like, no. People who don't remember the past are doomed to repeat it. So let me tell you about Invercargill's original alternate water supply, because I'm here in Otapuni Gardens, beautiful day. And the reason I'm in Otapuni Gardens is because our original bore was here somewhere. I don't know where. I don't think Lloyd Easley even knows where, but we know it was here somewhere. However, that was like 1860 sort of thing and woefully inadequate. Anyway, we'll fast forward to the 1880s and we built the water tower. Now, the problem with the water tower is you need something wet to put in it. So what did we do? We started sinking bores into Queen's Park. Now, the original number one bore, which was the first one, oddly enough, is still there and it can still run. We don't use it for water supply, obviously, because it's horrid orange and hard and corrosive, but it's still there. So we actually had, I think it was 6 or 7 different bores in Queen's Park at its peak, and then we had another bore field with another 3 or 4 bores in behind the old Salvation Army building down Victoria Ave. So those bores supplied the water tower for many years, but there was a huge problem. The water was hard, and what does that mean? Full of calcium and magnesium, basically. Soaps wouldn't lather, so you go to wash your white linen, it comes out brown. Very hard. Also very corrosive and very full of iron. So when I say corrosive, I mean water cylinders would tend to last about 5 years in Invercargill. In fact, boilers would only last 5 years, which was a huge problem in the early 20th century when everything was run by steam and boilers. So we started looking for an alternate water supply pretty much as soon as the water tower went online. So let's just, for argument's sake, ignore the Otapuni Gardens bore and say the Queen's Park bores were our original supply. We started investigating all sorts of malarkey. Every pond, puddle, stream, lake, fjord, river, creek, you name it, we investigated it to see if we could tap into it. One of my personal favourites was a 140 kilometre long pipeline running alongside the old Kingston Branch Railway from Invercargill Railway Station to Lake Wakatipu. And they were going to siphon water up the hill to Aya Creek, which is the high point, and then let it run all the way down to Invercargill and feed us an infinite amount of lake water. Of course, the price of a 140 kilometre long pipeline is just a wee bit expensive and extravagant. It was a distraction because there was lots of alternate supplies proposed. The biggest one was the Dunsdale Stream, which is just out the back of Hedgehope. So that was about 35 kilometres as the crow flies from Invercargill. And the idea was dam the Dunsdale Stream and have a nice big lake behind the dam. And of course the head of water would feed a pipeline feeding the city. And we went over this and investigated everything else. And it took us 70 years, yes, 7 decades for the City Council to decide on an alternate water supply. So our actual alternate water supply is the water supply that currently feeds the city, that comes from the Reedy River at Branksholme. That's our actual alternate water supply. And it hasn't failed us, but I'll cover that in part 2. So when people say alternate water supplies are a new thing in Invercargill, no, they're not. No, we've been doing this for over 150 years, easily. And what's that saying? People who don't remember the past are doomed to repeat it? Well, tune into part 2 and we'll go over Invercargill's new alternate water supply and why it's not new and it's not alternate and it's even the water supply bit's a bit dubious. Cheers.